Today we will analyze the top best, strongest, and most iconic female characters in the history of cinema. Let's start with the fact that in this top, all female characters are iconic, are such women in whom you really believe. They have feelings. They are capable of love. But if necessary, they can kick the ass of anyone who gets in their way. The first not just strong, but also iconic female character is, of course, Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton. Sarah Connor is a truly iconic character. She personifies strength and determination. Her evolution from a frightened waitress to a seasoned fighter is a path full of pain, sacrifices, and an unyielding will to survive, as well as one of the most striking storylines in cinema. And here, of course, it plays a big role that her character develops for 3 films. And in these 3 films, we see the same Sarah Connor, but with a difference of 10 to 30 years after each film. Terminator, 1984. In the first film, Sarah is an ordinary young girl working as a waitress. Her life turns upside down when she learns that in the future, her son will become the leader of the resistance in the war against the machines.
His name is Connor. John Connor. Your son, Sarah. Your unborn son.
She is hunted by a cyborg killer, Terminator, but she is protected by a soldier from the future, Kyle Reese. During the film, Sarah gradually realizes her destiny, experiences the loss of Kyle, and in the finale already demonstrates the first signs of strength and determination.
You're a terminated fucker.
Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991. Here we see a completely different Sarah. In the years since the first film, she has turned into a tough and prepared warrior. She trained to protect her son John and became paranoid.
You have to let me see my son. Please. Please. He's in great danger. He's naked without me.
Desperately trying to prevent Judgment Day. However, her fanaticism makes her cruel and even frightening. The scene where she tries to kill Miles Dyson shows how far she is willing to go. However, she still retains her humanity, and her development in the film is not only about strength, but also about fighting her own demons. Linda Hamilton's preparation for the filming of Terminator 2 Judgment Day was incredibly tough. She understood that Sarah Connor in this film is no longer a scared waitress, but a battle-hardened warrior, so she had to completely change her body and mental attitude. Linda Hamilton trained under the guidance of former Israeli commando Uzi Galavan. For 13 weeks, she underwent grueling daily workouts, strength training, push-ups, pull-ups, weight training, cardio, intense running and endurance training, combat training, learning various hand-to-hand combat techniques. Her body changed beyond recognition. She gained about 5 kilograms of muscle mass, and her arms became so sculpted that their appearance remains iconic to this day. Linda Hamilton completed a course of military training with professional instructors. She learned to disassemble and assemble weapons with her eyes closed, to wield machine guns, shotguns, and pistols, to shoot with one hand without blinking, which was especially important for the credibility of her image.
Out of the car! Right now!
To achieve a sculpted body, the actress followed a strict low-fat diet consisting of lean meat, vegetables, and complex carbohydrates. She completely gave up sugar and alcohol. Linda also worked on the psychological state of her character. She isolated herself from friends to feel Sarah's loneliness, to get into the image of a woman obsessed with preventing doomsday. She immersed herself in themes of military tactics and survival. Thanks to these efforts, Linda Hamilton created one of the strongest and most realistic female characters in cinema. Her physicality, weapon mastery, and stern gaze made Sarah Connor not just a heroine, but an action icon. Terminator, Dark Fate, 2019.
My name is Sarah Connor. When I was about her age, a Terminator was sent to kill me, to stop the birth of my son, John, leader of the resistance. We changed the future, saved 3 billion lives.
In this film, Sarah is an older but still dangerous woman who has dedicated her life to hunting Terminators. Her life is full of losses. She loses John, but she does not give up. Now she is a mentor to a new generation of fighters. In this film, she is no longer a symbol of hope, but a warrior who continues to fight no matter what.
I'll be back.
Sarah Connor is a perfect example of how a character can change and evolve under the influence of circumstances. She started out as a victim, but became one of the strongest and most independent heroines in cinema history. Second place goes to the iconic female character, Sigourney Weaver. Weaver played one of the most iconic and influential female roles in the history of science fiction and cinema in general. Ellen Ripley in the Alien franchise. This character became a true symbol of a strong, independent woman in a genre that had previously been dominated by male characters.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Why is Ellen Ripley considered a strong heroine? Ripley is an officer of the research ship Nostromo, possessing leadership qualities, intelligence, and determination. She is not a superhero, but thanks to common sense, perseverance, and professionalism, she manages to cope with extreme situations. In the films Alien and Aliens, Ripley demonstrates courage, coming face to face with a terrifying form of alien life. She not only fights aliens, but also overcomes personal fears and losses. Ripley was originally written for a man, but Weaver's casting changed the character to a female. This decision made Ripley's portrayal revolutionary for its time, when female characters in science fiction often played supporting or sacrificial roles. Ripley is a multifaceted character who combines strength and vulnerability. She can be tough and determined, but also shows compassion and care, especially in her relationship with the little girl Newton aliens. Ripley evolves as a character throughout the franchise, from surviving in the first film to making a conscious choice to save humanity in Alien 3. This journey makes her one of the most complex and realistic heroines in cinema. Ripley is considered a feminist icon and a symbol of strong women in cinema. Her image has inspired many other heroines in the science fiction and action genres, and has changed the perception of female characters in popular culture. The character of Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, has undergone significant development throughout the Alien franchise. Her evolution is not simply a journey of becoming a strong woman, but a deep psychological process that combines fear, pain, personal loss, and a persistent fight for survival. Alien, 1979, Birth of a Fighter. In the first film, Ripley is introduced as a third-rank officer on the Nostromo. She is not a leader from the start, but she shows common sense and fortitude, especially when it comes to security. Her rational thinking and inner strength are already evident here. Ripley becomes a leader not by choice, but out of necessity when more experienced crew members die. She is one of the first to try to comply with the quarantine protocol by not allowing the infected Kane onto the ship, although this decision causes conflict. In the finale, she shows incredible resilience when she remains face-to-face with the alien, using her wits and courage to destroy it. Ripley evolves from a cautious and rational officer into a woman who is willing to fight to the last. Aliens 1986, The Making of a Leader. In this installment, Ripley's character is explored further, with her personal motivations of protecting the innocent and dealing with past trauma, becoming the driving force. After returning to Earth, Ripley faces mistrust and the loss of her daughter, which intensifies her personal pain and determination. After finding Newt, Ripley shows maternal concern. It is this connection that turns her into a fearless protector, willing to do anything to save the girl. In the final battle scene with the alien mother, Ripley shows her ultimate determination and strength when she utters her iconic line,
Get away from her, you bitch!
Ripley becomes not just a survivor, but a symbol of maternal protection and heroism, ready to face the most terrible threats. Alien 3, 1992. Acceptance of destiny. This part reveals Ripley as a woman who faces loss and personal crisis. She loses Newt and Hicks, which increases her tragedy. After learning that she is carrying an alien embryo, Ripley makes the difficult but heroic decision to sacrifice herself to destroy the threat. Even in the most difficult conditions of the prison colony, she maintains inner fortitude and does not lose her humanity. Ripley accepts her fate, and her death becomes a symbol of the final victory over evil. Alien: Resurrection, 1997. Ripley returns as a clone, half human, half alien.
Who are you?
This film reveals her in a new light. Ripley struggles with her own alien nature and tries to find her humanity. She now has superhuman abilities, but has lost some of her former humanity. Self-acceptance. At the end of the film, Ripley realizes who she is and accepts her unique nature.
I'm the monster's mother.
This version of Ripley is a symbol of a new stage in life, a struggle not only with external enemies, but also with internal demons.
It thinks you're its mother.
Ellen Ripley evolves from an ordinary person struggling to survive to a mythical figure willing to sacrifice herself for the future of humanity. Her strength is not in her superpowers, but in her deep humanity, the ability to accept pain, loss, and fear, and to find the courage to continue fighting. It is this path, from fear to self-sacrifice, that makes her one of the strongest and most memorable characters in the history of cinema. Ellen Ripley is by far one of the most powerful and influential female characters in film history. Third place is taken by not only a strong, but also an iconic female character, Nikita, played by Peta Wilson in the popular TV series Femme Nikita, which was aired from 1997 to 2001. Who is Nikita? Nikita is the main character of the series. She is a young woman who was unjustly accused of murdering a police officer. After her arrest, she was recruited by a mysterious government organization, Section 1, which is engaged in the fight against terrorism. In order to avoid the death sentence, Nikita had to accept the offer to become an agent of this organization. Strong and independent, Nikita fights for her freedom from the very beginning and tries to maintain her moral principles, despite the cruel rules of Section 1. She is forced to kill and carry out dangerous missions, but at the same time she tries to remain human and fight against injustice. An important part of the series is her complex, intense relationship with her colleague and mentor, Michael, played by Roy Dupree. Their relationship is full of hidden feelings, trust, and betrayal. Nikita is a master of martial arts, shooting, and espionage, but at the same time remains a vulnerable woman striving for freedom and a normal life. Why did the role become iconic? Icon of the 90s, Peta Wilson made the image of Nikita a symbol of a strong but emotionally complex woman. Wilson brilliantly conveyed the internal conflict of her character, making her multifaceted and memorable. The series La Femme Nikita had a great influence on the spy drama genre and is still considered a cult among fans. Nikita is a professional agent, a master of martial arts, shooting and tactics. Her character demonstrates not only physical strength, but also the ability to calculate situations and make difficult decisions. Complex moral choices. Unlike many other heroes, Nikita does not simply follow orders. She constantly asks herself questions about good and evil, fights for her humanity, and tries to preserve her principles in a world where morality often submits to necessity. Emotional depth. Her vulnerability and emotional complexity make the character more realistic. Nikita is not an ideal heroine, but a person with doubts, fears, and internal conflicts. This makes her image deeper and closer to the viewer. Struggle for freedom and independence. Despite the control, Nikita always strives for personal freedom. She does not blindly obey, but tries to find her way and defend the right to independent decisions. Influence on the image of a strong woman in cinema. Nikita became one of the prototypes for modern heroines who combine strength, intelligence, and emotional complexity. Her portrayal proved that a female character could be not only physically strong, but also possess inner fortitude, making Nikita a cult figure in the spy thriller genre. Thus, Nikita is a full-fledged and significant example of a strong and independent female role, which influenced the development of female characters in film and television.